Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Zach, aka Keats39 here to bring you another NBA DFS slate. Um, really, at first glance, I'm not too big of a fan of this slate, although there are some interesting pieces. Um, but there's some spots that I'll get into it in a second that are very, very tough to gauge. So um, go ahead and get right into this one. All right, so I'm going to start with the spot that's really confusing to get, and that's Derrick White. And it's not Derrick White as a player, but the Spurs in general. They're on a back-to-back and 3-4, and anyone that has played a lot this year knows that the Spurs have really been really bad, like really hard to. Like the beginning of the year, they're all smashing the back-to-back. I've played Spurs the last 2 or 3 times that they've had back-to-back and 3-4, and they have crushed me. They've just been awful. They get a matchup with the Pistons that's not scary at all, but it still is worth like really checking out. Derrick White is my favorite piece from this game. It would be DeJounte Murray, but his price is up, so it makes me a little more nervous about the risk. Um, they got blown out in Philly yesterday, so their minutes weren't anything crazy. Derrick White was really good yesterday, especially defensively, putting up 12 defensive points, as well as scoring 17 real. So monster game for him. Um, no DeMar DeRozan again. No LaMarcus Aldridge, obviously. So a lot of usage to go around. And Derek White is just the one that I think has the best chance to have a big game, or to smash value, I should say. DeJounte Murray, I think, also has a chance to smash value. Only 23 minutes yesterday and 30 the game before. They've been involved in 2 blowouts, so it gives me a little optimism about the third game in 4 days. Um, but it's still very, very scary. Those two would be my favorite pieces for sure. I think Keldon Johnson's interesting, but he's been pretty bad lately. Rudy Gay, I have a lot of interest in. Um, Wrong guy. Especially like only 13 minutes last game, 12 the game before. Like, but his price is like really, really bad. So that's only I probably won't have any just because of that. But I think he's a really nice GPP play. So the Spurs are going to be a very big deciding point in the slate. I'm going to guess they're high-ish owned actually. Um, but yeah, I think that they're all good plays. It's just the Spurs are all really tough to decide on. Next, we'll get to another big decision, and that's going to be the New York Nets, or New York Knicks, I'm sorry, against the Brooklyn Nets. Um, Manuel Quickly, we all know how good he's been. They've refused to start him this year, but he's played the most minutes of the point guards both games that they've had guys out. Alfred Payton's doubtful. Derrick Rose is out. So it's going to be him and Frankie Nicotina. Last game, quickly, it is worth noting that he did start the second half. So there was at least a chance that he starts. But I'm going to guess that Frankie starts just because the 2 guards that Brooklyn has are elite. And Frankie's a really good defender. So I'm going to guess that, that they do want to start with Frankie. I can type his name. Would be nice. Yeah, he's still bare minimum, so I do think he's in play, but he only played 7 minutes last game. He played 25 in his other start here against the Spurs, about 16. And I think he's in play, being bare minimum, and as of now, there is not too much value. But I'm still probably going to just avoid and play quickly. This pace-up game is going to play really nice for Quickly. He loves playing fast. He loves running pick and roll. I just think that he has a very high ceiling here. If he is to get the minutes, it's going to be scary because like Frankie could come out, hit his shots, and if he's hitting the shots, like you're obviously going to want to play the better defender against the Brooklyn Nets. But if I were to guess, he has trouble staying out of foul trouble, and those 2 guys are some of the or Kyrie and James Harden. Those are 2 of the best guys at drawing fouls in the league. So I'm going to guess that he's going to struggle to stay on the court, which will open up a lot more minutes for Quickly. and he's going to get to run the show. But that's the nice thing about him coming off the bench, especially if he's still going to get to 33 minutes, because Julius Randle is such a ball-dominant guy, and he's really good. So it's nice if they're not sharing the court together at all times. Just a little more usage for him. So even if he's not starting, I still like him a lot. It is a little scarier if he's not starting, but I'm still playing him. Next, we're going to go. This is another big decision point. Anyone in the chat knows that last game. So Giannis is really tough. He's a tough guy for fantasy because he literally, like, this right here is what decides him. This year he's played a lot more high minute games than he did the last couple years. But like last game, they just faced the Washington Wizards, and they didn't have Bradley Beal, and the game came down to the wire. Like, they were losing most of the game, and because of that, Giannis got to play 36 minutes against a really bad defense, and obviously you see the 33, 11, 11. I'm sure that I can already see it now. Gator's going to hear all about it. I could just see it. They get Bradley Beal back, and so now they're going to get blown out, and Giannis is going to play his 29 minutes. So he's fine even in that time frame. So I think he's definitely the best player on the slate, and there's a better chance of him. There's a really good chance he doesn't burn either way, because even like you see the 29 minutes, he still put up 59. You see 29 minutes, 66. 33 minutes, 67. Like, there's no reason that Giannis should not be 60 or 12,000. Sorry, but like you gotta play him, especially in cash. Like his floor ceiling combo is just so through the roof. Even with Drew Holiday back, hasn't really affected all that much. So yeah, I just don't really see much of a way around him. Next, we go Rashawn Holmes. We already know Hassan Whiteside's not playing again. Back-to-back 35-minute games. He's like one of the most underrated players in the NBA to me. Really solid defense. And back-to-back 20-point games is kind of surprising. He has this little push shot that, like, every time I watch him, it's like, good. So I've been playing a lot of Marvin Bagley this year because he just has the higher ceiling. And every time I get mad because they've been the same price for a while. I'm like, why did I just not play Rashawn Holmes? He does this little flick shot, like it's a little floater. And it's like he just doesn't miss it. It's weird. I don't know if maybe it's just when I'm watching him he does it. But I'm interested to know if anyone else watches much of the Kings and they see that. But yeah, he's a good passer for a big two. Hasn't really shown lately, but he does have a high assist ceiling. Compared to a lot of centers. And 6.4, like, he's just hitting 5x of this literally every single game since he's come back from his injury. That's when he first came back, so he wasn't beating his minutes, but he's just so good. I want to look at Marvin Bagley real quick, just like show comparison.